today's show, we have William Morgan. He's the host of the Geek Gauntlet Podcast every Saturday night, and we're going to talk about it, have a ton of fun. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
And your host, Greg Cardone.
Welcome to the hot seat. I'm your host, Greg Cardone. And as always, it's a beautiful day for an interview. Won't you be my guest? Today, we have the host of the Geek Gauntlet, the man who got me interested in doing podcasts, William Morgan. Welcome, William.
Good morning. How are you doing today? Thank you for having me.
I'm doing great. You know what, man? It is so
good to be here.
It is so great to have you on.
Thank you. Good to be here.
I just want to let you know, you inspired me to do a podcast.
Well, thank you.
You know,
That's good to know.
When you had us on, when we did Grinders, that was about a year ago, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we really appreciate it because that was some of our first exposure that we had. And
oh wow,
it was fantastic. And now you know where we're going right now. But this is not about Grinders anymore. This is about the hot seat where we're bringing people on like yourself.
Yes,
interesting topics and going. So, how did you get into doing the Geek Gauntlet? Interesting name.
The whole podcasting thing happened about maybe 12 years ago when I did my first show. It was called the Wrestling Call-In Show then, and there was a show that inspired me called the Impact Players to talk about professional wrestling. And those guys did it on Saturdays where I've always been the most open and the most available. But they switched to Sundays. That was bad for me. But I still wanted wrestling knowledge. I still wanted to listen to a podcast. So me and my oldest son decided to start a podcast called the Wrestling Call-In Show. And then from that point, the whole podcasting career has just spun down from there. Wrestling Call-In Show. And then after that, Sports Report. And then the whole thing of podcasting networks came into being. And so I started getting with Talk Wrestling Radio Network. That dissolved. Then I got with Rant EM Radio. Rant EM Radio dissolved after I did the Wrestling Call-In Show for a number of years. Then I did the Sports Report. Then I took a little bit of a hiatus and got into podcasting yet again with Pinfall Streams. And with Pinfall Streams, I did some shows for those guys. We brought Sports Report back to the forefront. Brought that back. Then I always wanted to do like a geek show that covers the geeky side of pop culture, such as comics, anime, gaming, things like that. And if you listen to the Geek Gauntlet, you see that most of the time when we have everybody in play, all those topics are covered. And we used to call it the fastest hour in podcasting. Well, I got to change that moniker because now we go about an hour and a half. So I got to change that. I'm gonna have to change that eventually. But we cover a good bit of stuff on Gauntlet. Me and my guy Shaw cover a lot. We break down everything from again, gaming, anime, comics. Really big on social media. You can find me everywhere: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. So you can find me everywhere there. And it's just fun to do shows. Now I'm part of like several different networks. Sports Empire Network, I do a show for them. Coffee and Morning Sports Show. Also from the Sidelines crew, I do Player versus Team, which is a basketball sports show. So on top of Monday night, I do Sports Report. On top of doing Sports Report Fight Night, I also do Sports Report in the morning. That's on Coffee and Sports in the morning. That's on Wednesdays. at 9 o'clock. From the sidelines, player versus team, I do that 9:30 on Thursdays, and then of course it's Geek Gauntlet on Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Me and the crew, as you can see, my background here is what Dragon Ball Z, one of my loves, is part of what we do and what we talk about. So when it comes to this podcast and stuff, I'm a busy dude. I'm not where I want to be in the community yet because I'm not being paid professionally as of yet, but I hope to get there one day.
We're doing it for fun. You know, you have to start out, and you just never, you never know where it's going to go, and that's something that we're looking at doing. It's let's do interviews. Let's bring people on. Let's bring in some interesting topics. How can we benefit the public? Give them entertainment. We're just not going to be talking head. You know, you see the way we do this. It's interesting that you talked about wrestling. I used to be a cameraman here in Florida for when they had the AWA, American Wrestling Association, Florida Championship Wrestling, Gordon Soley, Dusty Rhodes, the Wyndhams, the Graham brothers. We're talking so old school. That's, you know, a little gray. I use a touch of gray. Maybe I need to use a touch of brown, but it's it's interesting. We were doing a lot of traveling with the kids, and do you want to go see? Look who that is! Oh, it's Kevin Nash. And he looks at me. He goes, "I remember you." Oh yeah, and look, there's Hector Guerrero and Dusty Rhodes, and I see the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, and he's like, "I remember you," and Medusa, Shark Boy, all these people. My kids are like, everybody. Hulk Hogan, he's from Tampa.
Yep.
Probably one of the coolest things I saw. It was at a Gold's Gym, and I was touring around, and the Graham brothers actually owned it. And I went downstairs, and who was in one of the workout rooms? Hulk Hogan and Jesse Ventura.
Wow.
In their prime. Wow. And Jesse had the boa around his neck.
Wow.
I was
That was when they got along.
Yeah. They were sitting side by side on the workbench, and I was like, "Okay, guys, nice to go." How did you so the whole anime type? I have no idea about that stuff when I see it. When they call it Dragon Ball Z, a friend of mine, he was into it, and I just called it Dragon Balls. He goes, "No, it's Dragon Ball Z." So
yes.
how did that really offshoot from wrestling?
It was always because when we first started out, geek culture was considered more nerd culture. And it's kind of like a side. You kind of, I'm not because you had to hide it, but you sort of kind of had to hide it.
Closet.
You don't want people to take a negative connotation to you. He's nothing but a big nerd. He's nothing but a big geek. But now, when you're looking at 2023, being a geek is almost normal. So now you can let this side come out a little bit and let people know your feelings about this. To me, it's fun, and to have these debates. For example, Goku versus Superman. You can have that debate all day long. It's fun to me, and as you're part of that page, I've put up polls about different things. There's so many ways you could take it. It's beyond Star Wars. It's beyond Star Trek.
Yeah, it is.
Geek culture is just huge now. And I think it should be covered. I'm part of a news network called Geek News Now. I run the AV team, and that's all we do is cover modern geek culture. And the people in that group are fantastic. And you'll see Kat Holler, for example. She's part of the show. She's also a part of that group. Shaw's a writer over there with Geek News Now. So definitely go give those guys a follow. Tell them William sent you. But Geek News Now is awesome. And that's what we do. We cover modern geek culture. And it's fantastic. It's a side that needs to be heard. And like I say, it's more than just Star Wars. It's more than just Star Trek. It's really growing beyond that. And if you want
society, yeah.
And if you want to have like an escape, if you want to just like get away from your everyday problems, you can watch an anime. I don't care which one. There's certain anime I like, certain I don't. I give an example. I can't stand Black Clover, but I can't stand Sword Art Online, or else I don't like that. But
I've
if
never heard
you,
of these people.
oh well, yeah, these
I,
animes.
I got to watch a little bit more. I work on Saturdays. I got a little part-time gig that I do. So, but I watch the replay, and you guys, I don't know how you do it. That's just funniest stuff. I have a little video clip.
Uh-oh.
That I took off of your Instagram, and we like to do a little bit of video and entertainment here, get my creative juices flowing. So we're going to take a quick look at it.
Okay.
And when we come back, you'll probably be laughing. I laugh. I watch it when I just want to get a little bit of amusement. So,
Oh yeah.
So let's take a quick look, and we'll be right back.
Why Blue Beetle? Don't take a B hero and hope to start an A+ universe. They could have picked a more well-known character to start the DCU with.
I don't have any hopes for this, and then it's slowly just.
Why would you waste anyone's time with that? This show was dumb. It was stupid. And it was disrespectful to the fans and disrespectful to the Batman franchise.
I think it was universally hated, and everybody is happy to see it go.
We got good news, and we got bad news, and we got more bad news. They got a lot of budget cuts, and there'll only be 10 episodes. The worst news, almost the entire cast has been cut.
Oh no.
You're a funny bunch, man.
I couldn't resist when I saw that. I was like, when I have him on, I got to put a little special surprise in there for you.
Had the music going and everything.
Did you show it to your buddies? What did they think?
I did. My crew thought it was funny as I don't know what. My girl Janae couldn't stop laughing. She loves stuff like that.
And at the end, he was like, "Oh no,
oh no, oh no."
The interesting part about that was a few days before that, I actually watched the movie.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing on. Oshaka was on, or Soko, whatever. It wasn't on.
Mm-hmm.
So I was jonesing, and I was like, okay, this looks pretty good. George Lopez. And I think it was Hispanic month or something. So it was very apropos.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it. I don't think it was as bad as maybe what other people think. It was entertaining. Mm-hmm. It was a little bit more down to earth. With the Latino community, which I thought was kind of interesting. George Lopez is funny.
Yeah.
In there. And at one point, I thought it was a little sad, with the father. And, if any kind of movie can draw some form of emotion out of you, then, and I always said that it did its job. It might have been a little weird, and it's not that hardcore. I thought it was entertaining. I hate to see it go, but really, one and done, served its purpose.
My thing is with again, as you saw in the clip there, my issue was the fact that Blue Beetle is not your everyday hero. He's more like, in my opinion, and my guy Shaw loves him to death. But to me, he's more of a B hero than he is an A hero. Kind of like a B-list actor. You have A-list actors. Well, he's more to me like a B-list actor. Someone who I don't think could carry a serious style movie. Like if you take a character like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, they have and held their own movies, despite the actor who's played them. I don't think Blue Beetle could have. The movie was okay. It was a good introductory into him, but I don't think he can hold things down on his own.
Right.
He would need help. And be if you put him in a Justice League movie, or if you want to take it back to the days of the original Blue Beetle, which is Ted Kord, you could have put Ted Kord back in the Justice Society. He could have done several things, but I just don't think Blue Beetle is that character strong enough to hold multiple DC movies. Yes, introduce him to the masses, just in case those who don't know him, because not everybody reads the comics. So a lot of times these Blue Beetles, this could have been just like for yourself. This could have been the first time you've ever heard of the character. So you have to make him go out right.
I
And
had no idea
Yeah,
of them. It was a surprise. Blue Beetle. I was like, what is it?
Mhm.
Okay, let me watch it. And
Because not everybody reads the comics. So
you're
again,
absolutely correct. He would have to come on in the back end of okay, bring in Blue Beetle.
don't bring
Bring him
Blue
in,
Beetle. I got Batman right here. I got Blue Beetle. We can do Brave and the Bold now. So he would definitely need help. He would definitely need help. He would definitely have to be in the movie with other heroes, which I think you might see next. Because I'm hoping for another Justice League movie somewhere down the line. I don't know if it's going to happen with the way they're doing your main three actors. You fired you fired Superman Henry Cavill. Maybe you bring Batman in, Robert Pattinson's Batman, another actress to play Wonder Woman, another actor to play Superman. So yeah, hopefully we see another Justice League movie somewhere down the line, because the DCEU is retooling. But Blue Beetle would definitely need help. But it is good to see him, because we got our first introduction to him besides the comics in a cartoon show called Young Justice. So you can definitely go check that out. You can definitely go check that, the animated version of Jaime Reyes. He's awesome. I do like the cartoon version of him. So, but a B-list character like that carrying his own movie, nah, it was gonna get limited. It was gonna get limited results from it, as you saw. But again, you can bring in other heroes, sell them off
It was
that way,
entertaining.
and be fine. Yeah,
It was, I watched it, and
Mhm.
I thought it was coincidental that here it
Mhm.
was you talked about. I was like, oh, this is good, and you guys just like ripped into it, and I had and you were joking, so I kind of had to bring the levity up in there. Just I think my first real introduction, well, other than Superman, Batman, old school and stuff like that,
Mhm.
is I actually met John Romita Jr. here in Sarasota when he
Oh wow.
first came here back in the 90s. It was an interesting way. I can't quite go into how
Mhm.
I met him
Mhm.
in there, but it was pretty interesting. And when I walked into his house, I had no idea who he was
Mhm.
whatsoever.
Mhm.
So that's just the
Just
way
hanging
that
out,
was.
being boys.
I had no idea who he was. I walked into his house. He had a nice house down in Sarasota. And I'm looking around and I'm like, oh, you like Spider-Man?
Is he a hero?
And it was it was a pencil drawing of it.
Mhm.
He goes, yeah, you could say that. He goes, turn around. Again, I had no clue.
Mhm.
So I turn around and there is a full color version of it. And he says, I draw Spider-Man.
Mhm.
I do
Mhm.
the comics. What do you say? I was, ignorant to the fact of who he was. I've met famous people. I didn't know who they were until somebody said, you know who they were? I was like, oh, okay. They were
Yeah.
just, and he was the nicest guy I have ever met. Down to earth and talking. And he says, you know what? I have something for you. I was like,
Mhm.
okay. It was the volume 1
Mhm.
first issue before it was released of Man Without Fear.
Oh, okay.
He gave it to me in September, and it was due to be released in October. Daredevil, Man Without Fear. He didn't autograph it. I didn't ask him to autograph it. But you know what? I'm not into it for, the monetary aspect of it. So I can't.
Oh yeah.
I would love to run into him at one of these Comic Cons. I don't know how to get a hold of him, in his group or anything like that, and say, "Hey, you remember?" He would remember it. There was no doubt about that. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to hear from our sponsors, and then we'll be back and get a little bit of a conclusion on the hot seat with William Morgan from the Geek Gauntlet.
Promotional consideration paid for in part by Nuggos Wonder Nuggets. Sie sind wunderbar.
All right, and we're back. Thank you to our wonderful sponsors that we have. We're always looking for more sponsors, but remember, like, comment, share, and subscribe. We want this to go places. All right, we're back with William Morgan with the Geek Gauntlet. Earlier, you had mentioned Goku versus Superman. I thought, nobody can beat up Superman. So what's going on between these two?
It's a friendly little anime versus comics rivalry that went down some time ago. Goku is the dude behind me, not the yellow hair Saiyans, but the guy with the pointy black hair. That's Goku. The basis of the show Dragon Ball Z. So if you've seen Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, he's the main character of the show, and the characters most fans love. And he's very powerful in his various forms. Right now he's just unlocked Ultra Instinct, and the fight that went down between him and Supes, Superman won both of them according to Death Battle. And the main thing and I love that fight because both dudes go out, and Goku has that he has that resolve and never give up. But unfortunately, Goku just can't stand up to the Man of Steel. Man of Steel can breathe in space. Goku can't, as of this version of Goku. But he's still a great fighter. Because here's the thing: if you bring Goku's Ultra Instinct form and Master Ultra Instinct, then you have to bring up Superman 1 million. And Superman 1 million is just crazy. He just comes out the sun all glowing and all powerful. And it's gonna be a really hard fight for Goku. A really hard fight. So while I like Goku and I appreciate the fact that he has this never say that attitude, and he's got all these forms down. But eventually I just think he falls to Superman at the end of the day. Because if you put Goku at his best and Superman at his best, ain't no way in the world Goku gonna win. No way in the world. And Superman has always been that dude. I mean, Greg, I don't know if you've ever seen what a Susanoo is. Bigger versions of a manifestation of one person. But in certain instances, Superman could create a Susanoo. So it's just too much, man. It's just too much for Goku. It's just too much. Goku can't handle all that. But all those anime fans still love Goku. He's kind of dopey. He's kind of dopey. he's kind of dopey a little bit,
That's
but the whole show is centered around him, and he's one of the most. He's a serious fighter, but he's a dad too, and like I said, he's kind of a little bit of a dopey character at times. But
you know,
he's kind of like he could be a big kid here and there, but yeah, he's the main protagonist of Dragon Ball Z, and everybody loves him. He's one of the most beloved characters out there, and he can't beat Superman, but there's some guys out there he would definitely take care of.
that is so.
He can do it. He can make a sushi
You exploded my mind with that. Where do they come up with this stuff? The biggest thing I remember was The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
That was probably my kids watched that, and he's like, oh, give his hand. That's was probably the most anime that I watched with my kids, and
Oh yeah.
and
When
then
when you get to, because even Korra is still being renowned and talked about. I think it was last year, Death Battle, and you guys need to go check out the channel Death Battle, by the way, to see all this stuff. They did Korra versus Storm from the X-Men, and that was just a crazy fight that Storm ended up winning. But yeah, that's the world of anime. That's the world of comics. That's the world
wow.
of pulp fiction, that we can get into to escape from from everyday life. And hey, look, you had a rough day. Hey, but I got this Superman comic book I can read. You had a rough day. Oh wait, I forgot to go check out the newest episode of Dragon Ball Super. So it's stuff, it's a good escape. It also provides a good debate, and you can meet some good people. I have met very good friends of mine along the way doing this journey, and I love it, man. I love being a part of it. It really helps, and it's on Saturday night too. So that's great for me because I'm off. So that's great for me to get on there and just talk comics, gaming, gaming debates. Mario versus Sonic. I don't know if you've seen those yet, but Mario versus Sonic, that's out there.
I have both games we play. Yeah.
Games we play.
Games we play. Yeah.
Stuff is out there. But
That's amazing stuff where they come up with this. And
mhm.
your knowledge in it is unreal. It's so, even though it's unreal, it becomes so real.
Yes.
The unreality becomes the reality, and it just takes on its own form, and that whole universe of it where, okay, I don't want to be human anymore. I don't want to be in the real world, and and you get involved in that. This has been a great interview. And I'm
Thank
not
you.
saying my other interviews aren't great, but they're
Mhm.
so different. And that's what we're really looking to do here, is to bring on all these different guests like yourself that I have no idea of the knowledge that you have regarding these different aspects that are out there. We have
Mhm.
authors coming up, we have fitness, we have nutritionists. We're going to have people who deal with mental health crisis,
Mhm.
more authors.
I did a show like that too called First Generation Dad. Me and my friend Tony, who's also a dad, we got together and we just talked about father issues. And that was a fantastic show. I don't know if he plans on bringing that back or not, but that was a fantastic show. We just talked about dad issues that affected us in our everyday
Every
lives.
day.
So,
Every day in here. And that is what I'm looking forward to, is listening to other people. You hear people talk, so there's a difference between, oh, I hear you. No, you don't. It went
right.
right out the other ear. But to listen and have people come in and listen to what you're coming up. Oh, wow. I really didn't know a lot about that. Well, get on his show. Get on the Geek Gauntlet Saturday nights.
Yep.
Listen, it get your face out of, what? Sorry, there's my little lightning pop up there. Get your face out of your phone and
come interact, man.
Yeah, get involved, do something.
Mm-hmm.
Again, let our viewers know, when is your show on again and the time?
The Geek Gauntlet Podcast is on every Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We are also on Twitch. We also run the show off of X, which used to be Twitter. We're also there. You can also, and we're always there. Catch me and the crew. Again, we talk anime, comics, gaming, TV, music even. So definitely check us out. And I appreciate you having me here today.
Oh, it was fantastic. It was definitely fantastic. You are the one who got me involved. And now look, we almost like tween. We're tweening here, except I don't have the cool headphones yet. I'm dealing with earbuds, but it's like being tacty cool. I'm working on that. But got my mic, my boom, a new hot seat logo that we're working on here. But you really inspired me. And
thank you.
I'm having a lot of fun with this.
Yep. That's why I do.
I'm looking on that.
That's why I do.
Well, again,
mm-hmm.
Thank you, William Morgan, the Geek Gauntlet. If you like this, hit the like button. Share it, comment, subscribe. If you want to be a sponsor, an advertiser, and you just want to be on the show, contact us at thehotseat813@gmail.com. I want to be on your show. Again, thank you very much, Will. And the next time we will see you on the hot seat.
Have a good night, everybody.